All right, everyone. So today we're going to talk about Joe Biden's plan for America. This was a plan that was recently released that he spoke about in Pennsylvania. And we're going to just dissect some of that plan because to me, it sounds a lot like Trump's America First. So let's get into it. Now, one of his first points that he made in his speech was actually related to small businesses. He made the point that we need those businesses to flourish. We need more jobs coming back to those type of businesses, the mom and pop shop type businesses, which I don't really understand from his perspective of saying because Democratic policy has always hurt small business. Now, we know that conservatives tend to be all about entrepreneurship, businesses, growing yourself, and we actually do care about business, small business, large business, whatever, because just because you're a big business doesn't mean you didn't start as small. So we care about all business. We care about the opportunities in America for small businesses to succeed. We can see with the pandemic that the Democrats are looking to keep things closed down indefinitely, which is clearly hurting small business. It's one thing to say we need to save lives, but you have to make sure that the solution isn't actually worse than the pandemic itself. And so for them to say that, hey, we are worried about small business, it's kind of hard for me to say that's true. When you have conservatives and President Trump pushing to get the economy back open, not because they don't care about lives, which is what the Democrats would say, they just understand that every single day that this pandemic goes on longer, people are losing their investments. They're losing their life savings. A lot of people had businesses that they put their life into that have been wiped out. We need to care about that as much as we care about the people who are losing their lives in this pandemic. We can't lean so far one way where we just completely not consider one side of it. And then Biden goes on to talk about taxes and corporations. Of course, this is one of their major talking points because they hate the big corporations. They claim that they don't pay enough taxes. But what they have to understand that taxes are about giving back so that the government can do stuff in America for infrastructure, education, healthcare, all types of things. Now, the problem with how they view taxes is they think taxes in terms of money only. You know, if we had more money from these large companies, we could do more. But what you have to understand is that when companies, large companies in particular, are given tax breaks, they don't just take that money, put it in the bank, and let it sit or put it under a mattress. They go and they reinvest that money, which in turn creates more jobs. They can build more warehouses. They can expand. It creates additional opportunity. So now someone else can feed their family. For you not to understand this is crazy to me. So you would rather, I guess in turn, collect a ton of money, but then halt the growth of a company to actually create more jobs. You can't have it both ways. There's a reason that the tax code was built the way it is, and that was to create an incentive for business owners to not basically hoard their money, but to reinvest it and create more jobs, keep the economy stimulated and everything moving, the velocity of money. That is why the tax system is the way it is. And for the average person who works a job, gets a paycheck, has a W-2 job, what are they really giving back, right? You get your money, you spend it on liabilities, things that you want, and then it doesn't do anything else. It doesn't work to make more money or create any jobs. It's compared to a business owner or compared to a large business, if you really think about it, it's kind of a selfish approach because they are giving value back. Yeah, they're making a ton of money, but without them, you wouldn't have the jobs and everything. So one needs to keep that in mind. So after he goes on to talk about corporations not paying their fair share of taxes, he starts talking about trade with China, which I find interesting because he actually makes a comment that says that Trump was kind of scared to really take it to China because he didn't want to lose trade deals and hurt the economy, which on the contrary is what actually happened. Trump has fought for us in our trade deals to get us better deals, And this idea that he was scared of China or treating China special is just a lie. Everyone treats China special except for President Trump. Think about the NBA when China, when we had I think it was a tweet or someone said something about sticking with the people in China who were actually being oppressed. Like, they have real oppression over there. You guys think you're oppressed in America? Well, go to China. But anyway, someone related to the NBA made a statement about the oppression in China, and you had all the NBA stars with associated contracts in China come out and say, "Oh, we should be quiet. They don't know what they're talking about." You guys are the ones that are scared to take it to China. You guys are the one that just want to maintain the status quo. That was definitely not the case from President Trump's standpoint. He felt we were being taken advantage of, and he made efforts to change that. So to outright lie and say that Trump didn't want to really get involved with China and lose certain trade deals is, a complete lie. Okay, so after he talked about the economy a little bit, he talked about trade, taxes. Now we get into what the Democrats really like talking about, minorities. And he makes the comment that, we're going to fight for minorities. We're going to, the ones that were left out, we're going to make sure that they're included and that they have a better chance at education and making it in life. And that's great. Except Trump's already doing that. Now, how long have you guys made that pitch and have nothing to show for it? Trump literally has numbers, unemployment numbers going down, businesses being open, black businesses. Even during this pandemic, people have remained, for the most part, pretty positive of the economy and Trump's influence on it. So to say that you're going to help the minorities when we clearly already see them being helped, and we know that it is a pattern of the Democrats to pander to the minorities, say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then it never comes to fruition when you actually get in office. We've seen it time and time again. Most recently, obviously, President Barack Obama, who did nothing for black people. Nothing. It was an emotional victory, but black people tell me, minorities tell me, what changed in your life after Barack Obama was president? I don't think much changed at all. Okay, so the next point he makes is that President Trump wasn't ready for the pandemic. Now, this is interesting because if I remember correctly, after we had one COVID death, I believe President Trump closed down travel to and from China, and then they called him bigoted and racist for it. Biden goes on to say that Trump basically didn't listen to the experts or anything, which I just don't see how you say that when you guys hounded him for taking any type of stance at all. And then when COVID got bad, you guys said, "Oh, he didn't do enough. He didn't do enough. When this happened, he was slow to react." And it makes no sense for you guys to feel that way because you accused him of acting too quickly, and then after the fact, you accuse him of not acting fast enough. So which is it? It's kind of hard for both of those to exist at the same time. And then as Joe Biden is bouncing around to different points, he makes the statement that, Trump doesn't know what it's like to be a single parent. Biden's worried about getting coverage for like daycare and all of this for single parents. And that's great. That's wonderful. I think that's something that should absolutely be done. But the problem with this argument here, I just don't understand why people say, "Oh, President Trump doesn't understand this and understand that," as if you have to be part of something to understand it. That's the worst argument ever. When I had a back issue and I went to get it looked at by a doctor, my concern wasn't whether or not the doctor himself had a back issue. My concern was whether or not the doctor had the information. One can gain enough knowledge from simply studying. They don't have to be part of it. So they always make this argument that because Trump came from wealth, that he can't understand, or that he's never mingled with people who have a different outlook on life, which is funny because he has been involved with a lot of rappers and stuff back in the day. And just by that association would tell me that yes, he was involved with people that he could clearly grab that understanding from. But like I said, you don't even have to directly interact with people in a certain situation to understand the trials and tribulations that they face in regards to whatever you're talking about. So again, another weak point. Now, if he can actually accomplish doing something, that would be great. But again, to me, this speech was full of a bunch of empty promises. Okay, so then we get to probably toward the end of the little speech and their favorite talking point, systemic racism. They're still pushing and peddling this, and this is what I consider a big mistake of the Democratic Party. The fact that you make this part of your mainstream campaign push is a turnoff to a lot of people. You have to understand that Donald Trump is in office, which means that half the country doesn't see America like you see it. And when you continue to utilize such divisive topics to try to gain support, it's just not going to work. Because at that point, you're doing exactly what you accuse Trump of doing, which is preaching to your base. Most conservatives do not believe that there is a problem of systemic racism in the country. We believe that there's an equal opportunity for everyone, and we're smart enough to know that we're not going to achieve equal outcome. It's just not realistic because there are too many variables in human nature to say that we will all end up at the finish line at the same time, the same way. It just doesn't happen that way, and it will never happen that way. And anything that you put in place to try to ensure that happens will definitely limit freedom. It's just common sense. If you were to try to stop a person from winning first so that they tie with someone else, you in fact would have to limit their freedoms so that they could not finish as they intend to finish. So in closing, Joe Biden says that basically he wants to be the president for all the people. If that's really the case, then they should stop oppressing white people and black conservatives, because that makes no sense that just because we have an idea or we see America a little differently. We see America as a place where you can accomplish anything. As I am sitting here in my kitchen making this video, there is no one stopping me from achieving success. There is no one stopping me from investing in myself, buying books, reading, getting smarter. There's no one stopping me from opening a business. If I have the credit, the financial institution is not going to stop me from getting capital. If I open doors to a business, there is no one stopping individual people from coming in and patroning my store or buying my service. There's literally not a system in place. So if you want to be president for all people, we have to stop the oppression of people simply for having an idea. We aren't even doing anything to people. We aren't hurting anybody. We're simply telling them you have an opportunity. And if you use the time which is given to you, like others use their same 24 hours, then you could make something of yourself. So in closing, what I really find wrong with this entire speech is it does sound like Trump's America first. The only difference is Joe Biden is making the same promises the Democrats make year after year after year after year, and he's not going to accomplish anything. President Trump came along and he really changed what people believe a politician should be. Donald Trump is not afraid of going against the status quo. He's an individual thinker, and he is a man with a backbone. And people like me appreciate that because we're not going to be bullied into submission. That's not how we operate. We believe that you attack life and you get exactly what you want out of it. And you don't cry when things get hard. You may get knocked down, but you get back up and you keep going. And that's what America is about. So this whole speech that Joe Biden gave sounded really, really good. And the funny thing is, I have a feeling that if Trump had turned around and gave the same speech, which a lot of it he actually did for the 2016 campaign, they would find a way to take these exact words and make them divisive, racist, and anything that he said that he wanted to do, they were going to find a way to make it negative. And that's the double standard of the media today. But I just wanted to cover his plan. And so what do you think? Does this sound like America first? It sure sounds like America first to me, because he talked about the government investing billions of dollars to buy American products and how we're going to make sure that stuff is going to be made in America. That sounds like America first. And when Trump operates on that same premise, he's a Nazi, he's a racist, he's a white supremacist. So what's really the difference? Why don't you guys let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Hitting that like button really, really helps. The channel has been getting exposed on YouTube search now. That's a big, big victory. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. So I just wanted to say thank you. Happy Friday to everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Make it nice and productive so you can start Monday fresh and ready to conquer the world. Okay, guys, take care.